Crimson Trace announces Laser Guard Pro for today's most popular concealed carry firearms, combining a red or green laser sight with 150 lumen light, taking personal defense to the next level. Available now at your local dealer.
The number one national voice in defense of your Second Amendment rights. Gun Talk, available on iTunes and on the free GunDealio smartphone app for Android and iPhone. To be on the air with Tom, call us now, 866-825-5486 or 1-TOM-TALK-GUN. Now, here's Tom.
All right, back with you. Tom Gresham, 866-TALK-GUN gets you in there. In just a minute, we're going to be talking to one of our favorite competitive shooters who has some very important things to share with you. But first, I've got to get to Herman's call here out of Mansfield, Louisiana on line 2. Herman, looking for a holster here, and this was interesting. Do you really have a Smith & Wesson Model 39 ASP?
Yeah, Tom, I do.
You know there are only about 450 of those on the planet, right?
Well, I do, and I understand I'm not supposed to carry it, but it's such a sweet gun. I got the whole shooting match. I bought it with I guess you'd say a dealer representative package, and I got the holster, magazine, carrier, and the pistol. And the pistol is, I'd say, 99.9%, other than the 1% when they shot it. It's packaged.
This gun was made in the 70s and the 80s. It was far ahead of its time. They took a Smith Model 39 and then tricked it up with everything possible at the time to make it a carry gun. I mean, we're talking about Lexan panels, a hook trigger guard, goofy sights. I mean, interesting sights. I mean, it's different, man. But so what's the deal? You're looking for a holster now?
Well, I don't want to mess up the holster that came with it. It's still in the plastic. But I've got to carry the gun. I do. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I did not pay that much for it, but I would like to get a great holster for it.
Okay. Well, the deal. The original holsters for that were made by Ken Null. I'm looking, and his website does not seem to be operational anymore. But I found a guy who may be able to help you out, okay?
Right.
If you go, let me get this information. If you go to the website c-rusty, R-U-S-T-Y, c-rusty.com, this is a guy who studied under Ken Null, and there is a possibility he may be, I mean, here's the thing. You're not going to be able to get a holster maker, generally, to make your holster, unless you go to one of these one-off custom holster makers, to make a holster for a gun. That there are only 450 of them on the planet. I mean, they can't make money doing that.
Well, I didn't know it was that rare. I knew it was pretty rare, but it is a fine shooting pistol. It is not a bullseye pistol. It's
it's a defensive carry.
Pistol.
Yeah.
It's a silhouette pistol at about 15 yards. I mean, it's
exactly. I mean, it was way ahead of its time. Very interesting stuff. But yeah, check out c-rusty.com and see if he can help you out. And obviously, if you can talk a custom holster maker into making one for you, he'll probably need your pistol. But you can go from there. I really appreciate the call. It gave me a chance to learn a little bit something about the 39 ASP, which I was not familiar with before. That is very cool. Look, thank you so much for your call. Let me at this point go to a friend of ours who's been on the show a number of times. She would probably drive her crazy if I said this, but I'm going to say it anyway. I think she is America's sweetheart when it comes to competitive shooting. Julie Golub joins us now. Hey, Julie, how are you?
Good. How are you doing, Tom?
You know, you are one of the sweetest people I know who is a stone-cold competitor who will just beat you into the ground when it comes to shooting.
I do get a little bit I do get my grumpy face on when I'm shooting, but I love it.
Well, you have to, don't you?
It's, it's a level of focus, I guess. And I don't even, I make fun of people, everybody has their own shooter face, and mine is usually one that's pretty intense. And you've got the guy that's got his tongue out, and you've got, people are smiling, and it's always funny to see how people react.
I mean, for those who don't know, Julie Golub, you couldn't have a a trophy case big enough to hold all the stuff that you've done. 7 World Team medals, 15 USPA, 11 Bianchi, IDP, 9, it just goes on and on and on, all your stats. Of course, you were in the Army, at the Army Marksmanship Unit and all of that. But also, you become very well known as an ambassador for shooting. You talk about your kids. You talk about being a mom. You talk about putting all that together. You help women get involved at by the way, your website, juliegolob.com, JULIEGOLOB.com, for those who need to know. And now you're involved in more outreach, aren't you?
Absolutely. It's funny. When I was first starting out in my 20s and shooting for the Army, it was all about winning and winning and winning and winning. And not that winning ever gets old. It never does. But, now that, especially that I have children of my own, it's like there's a whole big picture out there. And I just want to share the Second Amendment in our shooting sports as much as possible so more people can enjoy it.
So what are you up to now?
Well, it's a busy competition season, but I do stay busy doing some other things. I've been working with the NSSF on Project Child Safe and a few other initiatives on their upcoming Shooting Sports Month in August, which I'm very excited
coming
about.
up. Yep.
And I also have been doing a lot of filming recently with NRA Women for NRA TV for Love at First Shot, which is a show that kind of takes ladies out of their comfort zone and showcases them either trying a CCW gun for the first time or getting into competition. It kind of breaks things down at the simplest levels to make it easy and fun.
I was doing that with a couple of ladies this past week. We went out just a little shooting, and they actually had a shield out there, and we're working with that. And then I had a full-size M&P, and they went, "Oh, that's kind of nice. I like shooting that."
Yeah. It's amazing when you can take a new shooter. It's almost like experience it all over again, isn't it?
It really is. And you know what it is, and you know this better than anybody. You really learn a lot about shooting when you start teaching it because you pay attention to the details.
Absolutely. Yeah, I find that to be the case completely.
So what is this research project that you're doing now?
So I had the wonderful opportunity of speaking at the National Shooting Sports Foundation's Industry Summit, which is kind of like a big get-together of a lot of the influential people in the industry, whether they work in companies or media, what have you. I believe Ryan was there as well. I saw him. Hello. And I did a presentation comparing the number of documented concealed carry holders to the number of people who are actively participating in shooting sports of the speed nature where you draw from a holster. And I was very kind of surprised and a little bit disappointed by the results because I've got a lot of catching up to do. And so hopefully my research kind of shined the light on how we can think about different ways of recruiting people to shooting sports. Because let's face it, not everybody is going to be what I refer to as a super user, somebody who's going to go out every weekend and shoot a major competition or get into it at that level. But there still needs to be something out there where, a challenge or an exciting thing that they can go and do with friends, almost on their own time, but still feel like they're engaged. And then when they're ready to take that next step and go try their first USPSA or IDPA match or go shoot the Bianchi Cup for the first time, they have a gradual progression to it.
What's the biggest, and you've looked into this a good bit, what are the hurdles? What are the barriers that keep people from doing that?
Like with most things, it comes down to time and money. Those are the major things. I mean, obviously, people that don't have a lot of time these days, we have a lot of distraction. And shooting sports aren't inexpensive. But beyond that, I mean, that's the case with anything, really, if you want to jump into motorboats or whatever, biking, what have you. But I found specifically with shooting sports, some of the barriers we face is we don't have a lot of great information out there. It's kind of compartmentalized. And shooters are great people, but sometimes we get too complicated way too fast. So we don't have a lot of great information like, hey, this is the all you need to start kind of thing. And we also have shooting sports that are fairly complex. and they can be a little bit hard to understand. If you've ever tried to explain scoring in practical shooting, you know that it's easier to do an algebra problem with calculus.
It's crazy. It really is crazy.
Yeah. So between all of that and the different rules and the different divisions, and not all the same sports are the same. So you could go and show up with your Smith & Wesson M&P, and you could be shooting in production, or you could be shooting in limited. Is that going to be SSP? Stock service pistol. There's all these acronyms. It's kind of overwhelming.
It's intimidating.
And that's another one. Exactly. We have so many great examples of professional shooters and even top-tier shooters. But let's face it, even the average shooter that competes on a weekly basis is going to look like a superstar to some people because of those advanced gun handling skills and stuff like that. So that's definitely a concern. There's a lot of specialization and of course, accessibility. I mean, there aren't a ton of ranges around, and one of the best pieces of advice is I usually give people who are interested in getting started is go to your local range and see what they do there first, because it's location. If you can't going to get it around you, it's going to be hard.
Yeah, and if you can get it there, then by all means, that's going to be better because you're going to go back to it more often. And it's easier and all the rest of it. So what's next for Julie Golub? What are you up to now?
I am getting ready for the World Championships over in France, and it's going to be in August. So that's the big thing I'm focusing on at the moment, so amongst all the other things.
Okay, I know that you get this question all the time. I'll ask the same one. When you're really getting into training, how much do you shoot?
As much as I can. I'm shooting anywhere between 350 to 600 rounds a day, 4 to 5 days a week, and I'll throw a local match in on the weekend and some warm-up matches, that sort of stuff. So it's pretty intense. And you're not just going out and throwing rounds down range. You're actually working on something specific when you go to the range, aren't you? Every single time. Yeah, I have a very specific plan every time I step on the range of what I want to work on. It's usually not the things that are fun and that I'm really good at either. It's usually the things that I struggle with. Yeah, there's no point working on the things you're good at. You have to maintain those skills, but yeah, I mean it's where the separation between the best and the not so best. It comes down to those fine details and really trying to perfect those skills. And you are, in fact, one of the best. You're also one of the best people we know, Julia. It's always a pleasure to have you. Thank you. Thank you so much. All right. Good luck with everything, and take care of those kids. I know that's number one for you. Will do. Thanks so much, Tom. All right. You take care. All righty. 866-TALK-GUN. Julie Golub. Holy cow. What a sweetheart. Just what a great competitor. Just a good person all the way around. 866-TALK-GUN. What's on your mind? It's open lines right now for you.
Responsible owners control access to their firearms, even when they may need them in a hurry. Liberty Safe, the nation's leader in gun safes, offers 6 models of handgun vaults. Strong, simple to use, opened with a key or fingerprint. Put your handgun in the compact vault, lock it away until you need it. Then it's in your hand almost instantly. Pick the Liberty Safe handgun vault that's right for you. LibertySafeHD.com.
The Ruger pistol that started it all is now even better. The Ruger Mark IV has the same great look as the Mark III, but now its simple one-button takedown means less time taking apart your gun and more time shooting it. Disassemble it in seconds for no hassle cleaning. Learn more about the Target, Hunter, and 2245 Light Mark IV series models at Ruger.com. The Ruger Mark IV, another rugged, reliable firearm from Ruger.
Attacks happen every day. How will you react? See real people put into real-life criminal attack situations on First Person Defender. Discover what works and what doesn't. Kidnapping, ATM robbery, home invasion, and other attacks. Learn how to save your life and the lives of your family. Get the entire first season on DVD at ShopGunTalk.com. Get prepared. ShopGunTalk.com.
Are you looking for a place to shoot? The National Shooting Sports Foundation has a great website called wheretoshoot.org. It's the largest database of shooting ranges on the internet. It's also a great resource for shooters where you can find video tips, printable targets, and a lot more. Find it online at wheretoshoot.org. And while you're there, Download their free iPhone app. That's wheretoshoot.org.
There's only one place where you can buy that firearm you've always wanted and turn it into your very own. That place is Brownells.com. Now offering a huge selection of firearms from all your favorite brands. Brownells is the spot to buy online. When you're choosing your gun, be sure to look over the enormous selection of parts, accessories, ammo, and more to make that firearm your masterpiece. Brownells.com. Serious about firearms.
All right, 866-TALK-GUN or just Tom Talk Gun. Dial it that way. Easier. Line 1, Daniel, Reno, Nevada. Got a range report for us. Hey, Daniel.
Hey, Tom, I took up your advice about the year of the revolver, and I picked myself up a Ruger GB 100 and 357 Magnum.
Okay.
It was used, but I got a pretty good deal on it for $400.
Okay.
6-inch barrel. I haven't ever fired a revolver before, but this thing I can, at 10 yards, you can cover your thumb with the holes I shoot in the paper.
Uh-huh. And how much fun are you having now?
I never thought I'd own a revolver. I'm having so much fun with this thing.
I know.
It's a whole...
It's a whole different level, isn't it?
Yeah, you have to learn a whole new set of skills using a speed loader rather than a regular old magazine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I like just loading them singly. I do it that way. They're generally really accurate. Your 357 with the 6-inch barrel is, if you can do your part, it's absolutely a 50-yard gun easily. And depending on what you're shooting at, it can be a 100-yard gun. And you can shoot double action. You can shoot single action. We were out at the range the other day with some friends and having them shoot it and showing them all of that, and it just works great. And, I mean, obviously you understand that you can't use – there is a particular grip, and Jim wanted me to mention this, that people use on semi-autos where they call it the long thumb, where you stick if you're right-handed, you stick your left thumb way down the slide. You do not want to do that with the revolver to get it in front of the cylinder, because there's some hot gases come out and they'll just peel it open to the bone if you stick your thumb out there. So don't do that.
Yep, I watched a few videos where some folks did that before I started shooting, so I decided I wanted to keep my thumb.
Good plan. Well, I'm so glad you're enjoying the revolver. I mean, I'll tell you, for the last 2.5 weeks, I have been carrying a 3-inch barrel 357 and just loving it. So God, they're so much fun to shoot. Really are. Oh, yeah.
You just take your time and get that proper trigger pull in, and you can hit whatever you're aiming at.
There you go. That's a pretty good recommendation. You hit whatever you're aiming at. Daniel, thank you for the range report. That's a real good one. Bill's in Reno, Nevada on line 2. He's got a question, a story I have seen some of these stories. Bill, explain what's going on here.
Tom, I want your opinion on this. I have my own, but you're the expert. The local BLM group has determined that target shooters are starting desert fires out here with brass and copper bullets. They say they cause sparks. My opinion is they don't. What is your expert opinion?
All right, here's the deal. Yes, fires can be started by people shooting. Typically, it is when they're shooting surplus ammo, may have steel core, may have, that type of thing. You get a spark out there, and when it's tinder dry, as it is right now, as you know, only do well, there have been absolutely substantiated reports of fires being started by shooters. It's why we tell people, shoot at berms of dirt. You can't be out there just blazing away at the countryside, and be aware when the fire danger is very high. In fact, the National Shooting Sports Foundation put out something on this a couple of years ago, as I remember. But, yeah, I was the same as you. At first I thought, that doesn't happen. It can't happen. And then I got to looking into it and looking at NSSF's info and went, I'll be darned. You really can start fires with the sparks from, and these would be the sparks from when bullets hit rocks and basically make a spark that way, not from brass falling on the ground. That would not be enough. Besides that, if it happened at your feet, you would see a fire, you would stomp it out. So if nothing, no other reason to keep your pants from catching fire. But Bill, I appreciate you. Thank you for giving me a chance to address that. That's, absolutely something. Let's see. Lee, we're going to hold on to you before I have to get back after this. Let me talk a little bit more about the shooting we did at the range. We shot, let's see, Smith & Wesson Shield, full-size M&P, and we shot my revolver. And it was interesting showing people how to open, if you're right-handed on a revolver, push the latch forward on a Smith & Wesson, and you hold the gun in your left hand. You cradle it in your left hand when you're reloading or loading it. You, with your right hand, your right thumb, you push forward on the latch, and then you push the cylinder from right to left out of the frame, and it swings open. And now with your left thumb, you can rotate that cylinder as you cradle the whole thing, and you rotate the cylinder as you're putting each round in. You rotate a fresh chamber underneath so you can load it. And then you gently, I emphasize gently, move the cylinder back to the right so it clicks in. You don't slap it in. You certainly don't flip the revolver's frame over so that the cylinder goes snapping in. You can really damage your revolver that way. And what was interesting is that some folks with smaller hands simply could not shoot double action, couldn't get their finger far enough in. And I was explaining that when you're shooting double action, you want the trigger to contact the joint of your trigger finger. But when you're cocking the hammer and shooting single action, you use the pad of your trigger finger, not the joint. So it's two different kinds of grips, and it's two different methods of manipulating the trigger. But I tell you, once we got there, everybody was shooting well. We got some people tuned up pretty well on their particular carry guns. We had some fun out there. Went up on a mountain using four-wheelers and UTVs, and we were yes, and it was very green there. We were not setting any fires, trust me, shooting into a dirt background. But it is something to be aware of. Remember, check the fire danger where you are and know where you're shooting. And when you're one of these places where they say, you don't need to be shooting because of fire danger, don't just poo-poo that. Yeah, it's real. We don't want to be the ones that are causing problems out there. 866-TALK-GUN get you in here. When we come back, we'll talk about some new guns.
Sign up for our Gun Talk newsletter and join the Truth Squad at www.guntalk.com. Now, back to Gun Talk with Washington Times opinion page regular contributor Tom Gresham.
Okay, we're back. Of course, we're still talking about guns. It's not that we are talking about them again, because we actually never stop talking about guns, because that's what we do and who we are. We like them. They're a challenge. Mechanically, they're interesting. They're hard to master. In fact, I'm not sure you ever really master, because you can always become a better shooter, and it doesn't really matter what your discipline is. And I think maybe it's the difficulty of it that makes it so interesting and intriguing and keeps us going and saying, I'm going to keep working at this. And also just there's so many interesting guns out there that people create. You're going, wow, that is really cool. So when you're into it, there's always something to pay attention to. One of the guys that I pay attention to and have for a long time is my good friend Bud Feeney, who joins us right now. Mr. Bud, are you getting ready for some trap shooting?
I just finished, Mr. Tom. We're at the Pennsylvania Grand. It's a 3-day shoot here, and just ended a little while ago, and we're sitting in our fifth wheel, doing what I really enjoy, talking to Tom Gresham on Gun Talk Radio.
So, wait. You're sitting there. You're probably still, like, right there at the shooting range, right?
No, it's over.
Oh, it's over.
I just shot the handicap today. It's completely over.
Okay, it's over. So you, all right. Now, of course, the next thing is you got to get ready for the Grand, right?
That's correct. Right. Mm-hmm. It's only a little over, but just about a month away. Yeah, it starts on the 2nd or 3rd of August. You're right.
The Grand American Trap Shoot, where there will be like somewhere between 2 and 5 million rounds shot in a couple of weeks there, right?
Yeah, 2 million rounds. They still get through 2 million.
That's crazy.
In 10 days.
In 10 days. That's a lot of shooting, man.
It's amazing. Yeah.
That is a lot of shooting.
And, you know, the new youth thing, which adds 2 days to the tournament, the Monday and Tuesday, has the SCPT has really they'll have 2,000 youngsters shooting on those first 2 days. And it's really, really going to turn this game around in the future. I wish to God we had started this sooner as a amateur trap shooting association, because it's going to keep the sport alive and growing in the future when these young kids continue to do it as they get out in the working world and finish school and start families, etc. You know.
Exactly. For those who don't know, we're talking about the Scholastic Clay's Target Program. And if you just Google that up, you'll see what we're talking about. And you can put together teams of youth, of kids, and you can get into trap shooting, and there's support systems available. And there are 2,000 of them going to the Grand American in Sparta, Illinois. It's just amazing to see all these. And some of them are, these are not like all 16, 17-year-olds. You got kids who are 11, 12-year-olds shooting out there.
That's right. I think it starts at 11 years old, and they have 3 classes all the way up to 17, 18, and then they move into the regular ranks of ATA shooters based on class.
Yeah, it's very impressive. So tell me what you have been up to. We need to talk about Blaser and Sauer and what's going on there.
Yeah, well, as you know, we're all part of the same company. The L&O Corporation is a German operation that owns Sig Sauer. It owns Blaser. And, you know, they opened Blaser USA in 2007 here in the States. They're located in San Antonio, Texas. And over the years, they've added some other brands that are very familiar. One is the Sauer, which we'll talk about a little bit today, and Mauser and Rigby, and most recently the Minox line of optics.
Oh, really? I'll be darned. I remember the Minox, the little cameras and all of that. So, Minox has been in optics forever. But, yeah, I want to drop down. What do you want? You want to start with the Sauer? Because you got a pretty cool, this just sounds wrong to say a value price Sauer, because Sauer makes such fabulous gear, but it really is.
It really is. That's right. The retail on the gun, full retail is $699. And for those that follow the line of guns, that's getting right down there with the American brands and other brands in terms of competitive pricing. And we think it offers one heck of a value for the consumer.
We're talking about the Sauer 100. It's a bolt-action rifle. People have known the Sauer brand forever and ever as being a very top end, and essentially getting Sauer quality for, what do you say, $700 or so?
$1 under $700 puts you in at full retail. For a gun that has a number of features that the American shooter really wants: 3-position safety, sub-minute of angle accuracy, a dropout 5 or 4 round magazine, adjustable trigger from 2.2 to 4.2 pounds, cold hammer forged barrel with a forged steel receiver, offered in a number of calibers, 222 all the way up to 300 Win Mag. They have really put together quite an item here.
That really is something. So, and then, of course, I would say probably the Blaser name is one that, while known in Europe, and you're the one who really introduced me to that, it's explained to me that this is like top of the line in Europe. I think probably there's still people in the U.S. who don't know the Blaser line of shotguns and rifles.
Yep, it is the best-selling rifle in Europe by a wide margin.
Wow.
And again, they introduced it here in 2007 when they opened up Blaser USA, and then, of course, added these other brands. But yes, it is one of the most respected brands in Europe, has been for a number of years, and is the top-selling rifle.
It's crazy, and it's a cool rifle if you've not seen it before. But I'm going to get you to hold on a second. We'll run up against our break. When we come back, I know we've got some kind of a special thing we're going to be doing for Gun Talk, folks, so we'll get to that. Bud Feeney is joining us from Sauer, Blaser, and, of course, obviously Sig Sauer. It's all connected at this point. We'll be right back with more Gun Talk.
No matter what gun you have, you want it to hit harder, shoot faster and flatter, and be more accurate. You get all that with the ammunition from Double Tap. Double Tap's experts select the best bullets, then load them to higher velocities while keeping safe pressures. Shoot small groups. Shoot farther. Use custom hunting loads in your handgun or rifle. Even fire 2 projectiles with 1 shot. DoubleTapAmmo.com. That's DoubleTapAmmo.com.
In the war on terror, fighting crime in the streets, in competition and homes around the world, one name in firearms stands out: Sig Sauer. Our pistols and rifles are renowned for their unfailing performance. This same commitment to excellence can be found in our line of SigTac accessories and the training offered by the Sig Sauer Academy for unmatched quality, reliability, and innovation when it counts. Choose Sig Sauer. Visit SigSauer.com today.
This land, once wild and free, fades now from our memory. But I remember what it was like, what we were like, what we are capable of when we band together. Perhaps more than any other landscape, wetlands embody the life-giving abundance that nature has to offer. And perhaps more than any other organization, Ducks Unlimited is working to ensure that our continent's wetlands not only survive, but thrive for generations well beyond this one. These natural wonders are where waterfowl begin their cycle of life, where the deer and the antelope play, and where we, the people, gather together to see and share what makes the outdoors so great. The time is now to band together with organizations like Ducks Unlimited. The time is now to rescue our wetlands.
Alien Gear Holsters, the most comfortable concealable holsters on the planet, is proud to craft the award-winning Cloak Tuck 3.0. Dubbed the best holster in the history of ever by Concealed Nation readers, this American-made IWB holster includes a forever warranty, free shell trades for life, and a 30-day test drive. All for just $43.88. Learn more about the most advanced concealed carry holster at aliengearholsters.com.
All right, we're back with Bud Feeney from Blaser and Sauer. Bud, when you explain to people what Blaser is, how do you explain the company, the heritage, the line?
Well, it was started in the 50s by a gentleman who really found an innovative way to operate the bolt, and that is what we call a straight pull bolt. Mm-hmm. And so you don't have to lift the 90-degree or 60-degree angle that we're used to on a standard bolt-action rifle. And that allows you to keep your head on the stock, in your left hand, if you're right-handed, holding the forend, and operate that bolt quicker than anything else you could do, and get back on for a second shot without taking your eyes off the scope or the mounts or anything. You know, you're just ready to go, and that was the advantage it was designed to give you, especially in big game hunting, because that rifle goes up to even larger calibers, 338 and above. So it's a marvelous thing to see in action.
Yeah, and the people who are good at it, I'm seeing the videos of them shooting running hogs and all. It's amazing because you do not have to lift the bolt up. You just rack it back and forth. You just whip back, and then you're back in action. It's crazy fast.
Yeah, crazy fast, and that was, really the emphasis, because hog hunting is so large in Europe and has been for so many years. It's mm-hmm. relatively become a big, sport over here most recently, but in Europe that is one of their primary things. That and some stag hunting. They don't mm-hmm. have the variety of game we have, and those running hogs that run in big packs, where they're allowed to take multiple shots in multiple game. That's really what that rifle was designed to do, and then it's been adapted to African hunting and just hunting in general.
Sure.
It's fun and looking for something really unique and different in the marketplace.
Yeah, if you want to find out more about it, take a look at the R8. It's at Blaser, B-L-A-S-E-R. I know everybody says Blaser. Blaser, BLASER-USA.com for that. And then, of course, you've got the shotguns lines as well, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes. The F3 is their trap gun, sporting clay model, and we introduced just early last year was the F16, which combines all the features of the the F3 line that puts it in a more reasonably priced shotgun because it does not have the interchangeable barrels, some of the other higher-end features that the F3 uses, but keeps it in a more reasonably priced gun but brings all the quality of the Blaser line with it. So the F-16, and that's done really well for us. This year we will introduce the 20-gauge, which everyone's been asking for, and then there will be some small things to follow that too. So
okay,
very
cool.
I wanted to follow up on the Sauer 100. It's that was recently introduced this year, or really 2016, late in 16. So if your dealer doesn't have one, don't be afraid to have them ask and order one from his distributors, because they're not in great numbers out there, but we're adding more and more all the time.
So because they're not in great numbers, you may not see one in the dealership, but any dealer can get one for you. And you can also go to the website and just look up the Sauer 100. And Sauer is Sauer. Right. But you got it, I'm looking here in synthetic and also in beautiful woodstock.
Yes, correct. Yep. Synthetic is the $6.99 model. The wood is a little bit more, which has a wonderful piece of wood on it for those that still like a traditional wood manufactured rifle.
Oh, you mean old guys like us?
Old guys like us. You're exactly right. I love these conversations, Tom, because you bring me right back down to earth.
Bud and I have shot together for a long time. Then you gave me a little tour of Germany a couple of years ago when we went out there with our wives. We had a great time. So, and I will never be as good a shot as you, but I sure do like hanging around with you, my friend.
Well, same here, and that was a wonderful trip. And that's where the 100 is built, right on that line that you saw.
Yeah.
I think we were making F3s at that time, but that is the same line. They're all built in that one location right there.
Very impressive. Made right there in Germany. So you can get a German-made rifle for $6.99 MSRP. Talk to your dealer about getting the Sauer 100. I think I've shot it. It's pretty amazing. It really is. Hey, Bud, I know that you're having a good time out there. You need to go and practice some more, man. The Grand is coming up.
You are 100% right. I just don't know if there's enough time to get any better, but we need serious practice.
Yeah, right. You need practice. Yeah, like I need a hole in the head. Thank you so much. It's always a pleasure, my friend.
Same here. Look forward to seeing you real soon. You take care.
You too. Bud Feeney, you know him from Sig Sauer, but also, man, you talk about a guy that can shoot. Holy smoke. When it comes to breaking clay targets, it's pretty unbelievable. And the guys who have done that a long time, they just get really good at it. But yeah, I'm not kidding now. The Sauer 100 is a really impressive rifle. Let's see, I'm looking at their website, if I can say all this. Sauer, SAUER.de/US. You can figure it out. Just look for Google up the Sauer 100. You'll take a look at it, see what we're talking about there. Pretty sweet rigs, guarantee you. Let's see here. I think we got time here. Let's go to, okay, we don't. All right, we don't have time. So I'll carry the ball on that one. That's not a problem. We were talking a little bit about the shooting we were doing this week with some friends of ours. One of the challenges they have, these folks like to hike. They like to backpack. And we're trying to come up with a holster rig for backpackers. So here's the thing. You're carrying a backpack. You've got your belt, padded belt for your backpack. So it kind of precludes being able to have a belt-mounted holster. So what do we do with that? Looking for ideas for backpacker when you want quick access to a self-defense gun. We're talking about not a hunting gun, but a self-defense gun, a handgun. And so we're kind of working on some different possibilities. There are side pockets on some of these belts, and that's a possibility. But again, not quite ideal. And I get it. Everything is a compromise. Certainly understand that. But if you know of a holster system that's made to work while you're carrying a backpack, I would love to hear about it. 866-TALK-GUN. Just give me a holler, because we're trying to work this out. If not, who knows? We end up having to design something to work with some of our holster maker friends out there. But there may already be something out there, and I'm looking for your help on that one. So, yeah, holster that you can wear your defensive gun while you're wearing a backpack with a belt on it. 866-TALK-GUN. Help me out if you would, please. I'm Tom Gresham. This is Gun Talk, and we will be right back. Going straight to the phones because we are time limited at this point. Line 1, Joe, Shreveport, Louisiana. Joe, what's going on with your Glock, man?
Well, my Gen 3 Glock occasionally is loosening or dropping a mag on recoil. And only a modification, I dropped a Travis Haley trigger in it, and I shot thousands of rounds through this Glock. What do you think's going on?
Okay, you've shot thousands of rounds through your Glock. It's a Gen 3 19. Are you using Glock magazines?
Yes, always.
All right, two things come to mind right off the bat, and you can help me out. One is that maybe you just got a weak spring in the mag release, possibly. Okay. The other, I'm just thinking now, depends on your grip and et cetera, et cetera. Is it possible, because I've seen this happen, is it possible you are somehow contacting the mag release with your thumb while you're shooting?
I hadn't thought about that. I guess that's possible. I would be surprised if that was happening, but I can't swear that it's not.
You might just kind of take your grip on it and look at it and say, okay, is it possible that during recoil I could be nudging the mag release and actually dropping the mag manually? Basically, the gun's doing what it's supposed to do if you push the button, of course. You know?
That's right.
That, of course, now that would be the cheapest solution right there, wouldn't it?
Right.
You might just see.
I may take it to a gunsmith. I'll check it out a little bit more, but I just thought you might have a quick answer that you knew what was going on.
Let me ask you this. Is there any chance it's happening with the same magazine each time?
It's not. It has happened with the same magazine, but I've noticed it happening more frequently with different magazines. I had thought about that, a bad mag.
Okay,
and,
yeah. Well, if it's happening more frequently, then something's changing, and it could be the spring on the mag release could be getting weak. If you shot it like a zillion times, and that would be a really inexpensive solution. Could be something has gotten worn in there. But again, don't discount, as we always say, the nut behind the butt pad, or in this case, the nut behind the grip may be, we all develop these habits, and you think, well, you know what, I realize I'm actually holding the gun a little bit differently from that I used to, and maybe I'm tapping that thing. So, or you know what, could be a combination of all of them. Who knows?
Well, thank you so much.
I appreciate it. You have fun with it. It's part of the deal. Hey, you know what? They're mechanical devices. And we do. We're all guilty. We think, well, it just ought to work. It just ought to work forever. Well, really? Should your car work forever? Should anything else you buy work forever? Anything's mechanical? I mean, it'd be nice. And guns almost do, but they are mechanical, and things do wear out. And so, yeah, a gunsmith might be okay. There we go. Tell you what, we are going to take this thing to the after show, and it's your chance to have some fun. Actually, you can bypass me. You can just talk with Jim and Michelle, and I'll sit on the side. You guys can have some fun, because I know that's who you really want to talk to anyway. If you give us a holler right now, we can get you in line to be on the after show. Just dial Tom Talk Gun. That'll get you in there. In the meantime, I had so much fun taking my friends out shooting. Mike and Andrew, you guys are great. Really had a good time. Great host, helping us out on a lot of different things. Had a ball up here in Idaho. We just can't wait to get back. Love the mountains, love the cool air. But it was a reminder of how much fun it is to take people out shooting. And I would encourage you, for them, but also for you equally as much, to take some friends out to the range. Invite people you know to go shooting. Guarantee you, if you ask them, there's a really, really good chance they're going to go. They'll say, oh, yeah, I'd like to do that. Teach them the safe way. Watch that muzzle. 4 rules of gun safety, but make sure that they have success. Put the targets up close, not much recoil, and make sure they have fun. That way they'll always come back. In the meantime, you be safe, watch that muzzle, 4 rules of gun safety, watch your 6, and invite people to go shooting with you. See you next week.